Sorry about that. I didn't realize it was 6:30 popped up on.
It happens like that. Good evening and welcome to the regular City Commission meeting for Tuesday, March 14th, 2023. Welcome to the spring break meeting. Please join me in silencing your cell phones. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Cleveland.
Here.
Vice Mayor Hartman.
Here.
Commissioner Martin.
Here.
Commissioner McGurk.
Here.
Commissioner Preen. Here. Thank you.
Wonderful. Police Department Chaplain Sheila Turner will give the invocation. Please rise.
Let us bow our heads and hearts to the Lord. We thank you, Father, for allowing us to be here together one more time. We ask that you allow us to make right and good decisions for our great city. We thank you for the wisdom and knowledge that you're giving us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Please remain standing. I'd like to introduce Mr. Andrew Bunch. Andrew graduated from New Smyrna High School in 2021. He is a 3-year club member of Kudas Unhooked, where he focused on active community volunteerism. He has earned a scholarship to Epic Aviation right here in New Smyrna as in the aircraft mechanic program and has maintained an A average. He's already received an offer from United Airlines to start work. Andrew, lead us in the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City Manager, are there any changes to the published agenda, sir?
Yes, sir. One change is we are moving item 4A, which is the proclamation for Water Conservation Month. The St. John representative could not be here tonight, so we are moving that item to April 11th, 2023 meeting.
Perfect. April is Water Conservation Month, so that'll be perfect.
Thank you, Mayor.
At this time, I would like to invite St. John's, whoops, nope, we're not going to do that. Sorry. Khalid, is there an update you'd like to
Yes, sir.
provide for
I would
past actions that are taken?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Well, good evening first, and I would like to start with a couple of items that we have done on the hurricanes. The first item is the Volusia County. We've been working with Volusia County on beach nourishment. The mayor and I, we attended the roundtable meeting this past Monday, where the Public Works Director for the Volusia County has given us a report on their work on beach nourishment. They're having a public meeting. This is regarding an easement that they are asking some of the property owners along the beach. They have sent letters to these property owners, but they have an open house, and that is on March the 27th at 5:30 at the Brannan Center.
For clarity, Khalid, they cannot do the work without getting that easement grant by the property owner. Is that right?
That's absolutely correct. So it's important for the property owners, hopefully, that if they receive the letter from the county, we have it, put it on our website. The county has it on their website. But it's important for them to attend this information meeting at the Brannan Center on the 27th at 5:30 to get the information, and also to, if they can, provide the easement for Volusia County to try to provide the trap bags, the sand that they have. So that's on this at this level. As far as flooding, we have been working with our consultants on two different issues. One issue was it's the exposure analysis, which right now he's working on it. We're hoping that he come back with his findings sometime in May. Right now, tentatively, I'm trying to schedule the special city commission meeting on May the 30th, where he could provide his findings and his reports, and then from that point on, we could take it into an action plan and coming back to the city commission. So that's a big ticket item there. The other big ticket item, this past Friday, the consultant and the city staff, they submitted to the local mitigation strategy group multiple projects that we have in the city of New Smyrna Beach. That was as a result of the public meeting that we had on Tuesday at the Brannan Center, where we asked some of these property owners if they would like to participate in the hazard mitigation grant program. Basically what it is, it's a FEMA grant that they would provide 75%, and there is 25% local share, which means the property owner has to come up with 25%. The thing is, the city has to upfront the money for these projects. So the total projects as of today for 16 homes to be elevated, another 9 homes to be elevated, and then 4 homes to be demo and rebuilt, it's over $9 million. That's obviously, it's a lengthy process. As you know, we're working on from hurricane in 2017, so it takes some time. It's not gonna happen tomorrow. And these property owners, sometimes what happen is they join and then they pull out. So, but at this point, this is what we have. So by the end of May, we have to submit the applications to the Florida Department of Emergency Management, which in return, they review the applications and they send them to FEMA. So that's 2 big things working for us at this point. I would like to take this opportunity to make sure that I extend my deepest appreciation to our police department. Everybody knows what happened last year during spring break. This time, we took a different route. We have had several meetings with business owners, with the Chamber of Commerce, but I have to tell you, the chief and his staff has done a stunning job in making sure that our citizens and our kids are safe. I would like for the chief to step to the podium and give you just a quick report, not a debriefing, but just give you a quick report on some of the issues they have faced so far and some of the citations they have issued. So, Chief.
Good evening. Okay, so 4 days in, we've written 380 traffic citations, primarily on Flagler Avenue. Put that in perspective, all of last year we wrote 3,700, so 10% in 3 days of what we normally write in an entire year. We've also had 31 arrests, so about half of those are felony arrests. Typically what we're seeing are kids from out of town with narcotics and alcohol, and just a couple hours ago, a 16-year-old with a handgun that was cruising around Flagler, and there was also narcotics in the car. So that's obviously the outcome of the enforcement. However, with the amount of resources that we have put towards this, and honestly, special thanks to Volusia Sheriff's Office and our fellow cities that we have mutual aid agreements with that have supported us with a great attitude and consistently reach out and ask us what else can we do to help you, recognizing that we're trying to stay in front of this. We've been able to set the tone early, which was our intention. So as they're coming into town, they're met with what appears to be a gauntlet of very friendly officers, and if their music is too loud, if they're not wearing a seatbelt, if they're speeding, they're immediately addressed. So it kind of sets that tone, and I'm happy to report we have not had a single issue in the evening time past 10 o'clock. So we have not had to enforce the curfew because they're asking us all day long about the curfew. It's on the reader board signs as they come into town. By 10:30, they're complete. It's like a ghost town. So that has not been a problem for us. So that is working as we expected it would. Kind of taking away their ability to go to different areas like Esther Park and the Cormeth Park and other areas that previously were very hard for us to control from a reactive sense. In essence, they just walk around all day and ultimately get to a point when there's just nothing left to do but leave town. So we do believe that we have the proper plan in place and that we'll get through the rest of spring break without incident. So, knock on wood. Thank you.
Great, Eric. Any questions by any of the commissioners?
I just want to say, great job, fantastic, great report.
Thank you.
Also, I've heard nothing but positive reports from the citizens, so.
And as Eric knows, Chief knows, I spent a lot of time on Flagler over the weekend, and the officers are all wonderful, and we are so appreciative.
Same, all positives.
Good.
Eric, I know you check in with the merchants on the street there. Would you characterize their comments back to you?
Absolutely. So I spend a good part of each day going in and kind of talking to them, and they're thrilled. So, but, you know, they're thrilled. But at the same time, I consider that to be how we should be conducting business on a, you know, normal 365-day basis. They're thrilled because things are under control. So, you know, we are not above humbling ourselves and realizing that we can always do better. We did learn from last year, and so it's simply having a plan that we can execute. So we're happy that we're going to be able to continue to build on, again, what we've learned this year, and it'll just continue to get better.
Often the pendulum swings to not enough to too much. Where are we right now in your estimation?
Yeah, I think, you know, we're learning about where we need to be in terms of resources and public safety. You know, this is not just spring break. We need to maintain this sort of posture through the rest of our holiday weekends. We saw this sort of activity throughout 4th of July and other holidays last year. So we're kind of taking notes, you know, we know that we are increasing, we're trending in the right direction in terms of staffing in the police department. You know, we hope to grow again next year. We, you know, have learned a little bit about having an incident command trailer and, you know, the necessity of doing certain things that the cities around us have already, you know, put into place. So I think we're maturing into the fact that, hey, we are a tourist town, and weekends are always going to be a little bit more busy, but when we know and we have intelligence that we're going to have a whole bunch of out-of-towners, you know, coming in, especially in this age group, we just appropriately plan and execute. And the whole, I keep telling the officers, albeit that we've had some arrests and good arrests, you know, I'd be even happier if we had 0 arrests, which, you know, we had enough folks out there where they just saw it. They knew from the social media and the media presence that we have that not to try us or just not come at all. It's just not that type of place. So that's what we're working towards, Mayor.
Really good. Would you comment on your ability to move traffic on Beachside? It is high season. It'll be music to everybody's ears that you're tuning it up for the season, not just one time. So that's all good. And many others are now focused. Okay, we got the bad stuff figured out. Now, how do we move the cars? Any ideas on that? Or,
yeah, you know, what gets us is the opening and the closing of the beach based on the tides. So you have the traffic coming to town. They just want to go to the beach, but then they, you know, kind of spread out. But then they're moved off of the beach when the tide comes up. And what they want to do is just stay close enough to where they can get back on. So we're having to, you know, again, just like the spring break plan, go back and kind of reanalyze our approach to that. So Colin and I have had some good conversations, and we're going to put some things in place to where we have community service officers. Those are unsworn officers. They're not parking. They're kind of the in-between. So we're going to be expanding that position, and we're now going to train those officers in parking as well. They already do traffic control. So our goal is that we're going to, as we build that program out, those are more unsworn, because the sworn officers are typically busy, they're responding to calls, and those are folks that are very adept at moving traffic, where they can go to those on and off ramps, or at least the most strategically the ones that get the most traffic, and deal with that. And then when the beach is open, for instance, they can just kind of back up and survey the parking situation and start addressing that.
Fantastic. You heard your commission just now give you great accolades. Well done. And please pass that all the way down to the patrolman that's on the beat right now.
I will. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you.
And Mayor, I just want to also echo about our mutual aid that we have with other cities and the sheriff's office. You know, their help and their support is tremendous, and we cannot thank them enough to do that. And I would like just to go over the public participation comments from the last meeting, if I would, please. We had 15 public participants at the last meeting on February the 28th. Most of them, they were talking about the spring break and beach traffic. And obviously, we have addressed, and we're addressing the spring break, and then also in terms of the traffic issue, The chief and I had a very lengthy conversation, and we'll be coming back to the commission for an overall plan of how we're going to handle not only the spring break, but beach traffic from this point on. Obviously, it gets so crowded, traffic backs up because of the tides. So we will come up with an overall plan to address that issue. There was a comment about the seawall at Due East. There's an issue there with the seawall. We put barricades temporary for now, and our maintenance operation director is working on a plan to do the repair there. So that might take some time. There was a comment about what the city has done to make changes on the master development plan, PUD, LDRs, and so forth. So I just want to let you know that since 2018, we have made quite a few changes in order to address some of these construction projects and developments. The PUD, we have not gone deep into the templates, so we will do that. We're working on it. But the MDA, we have worked on the templates, and also on the LDR, we made some changes on 2020. As we speak, we're still making some changes and recommendation to the commission, and that will be coming to you hopefully in the near future. There was an issue with noise. Obviously, the noise issue on the avenue, and then also on the crushing concrete. And I just want to take this time to express my sensitivity to both issues. At the last meeting, I was going over the comments, and I was responding to the questions that they gave us, and they took it as that we don't care. And that is far from the truth. We have done so much on both issues, and we continue to do so. As far as the crushing concrete sites, I have code enforcement. They go out regularly. I have gone out myself, the city attorney, the assistant city attorney, other staff members. We've gone several times to the site to monitor. Code enforcement, they go out there and actually they measure the noise with the decibel tool. We're also looking for another company to do our testing. We found one. They're working on a proposal. Hopefully they will get it to Kyle as soon as possible, and we'll bring it back to the commission for approval before we start on it. On the noise issue from the avenue, I have met with the manager for the avenue, and I have met with the residents. We're still working on it. It's a very sensitive, difficult issue to deal with, but I'm hoping that we come up with a resolution here sometime in the near future for it. There was a comment about Venetian Bay architectural review for Village Center East in Venetian Bay. And they indicated that is not consistent with the Tuscany Square theme. If you recall back when this issue came up, they have consulted with an architect to look at their architectural review. Well, that architect is working for us now as a consultant, reviewing the drawings and the architectural elevations. So he is reviewing them as we speak. I think he provided either his comments or his approval. So it's not like we're not doing the review, we are. As a matter of fact, the architect is sitting in the audience as we speak. We had a couple of comments from the First NSB Church and also the Baptist Church about their youth programs. We had a comment also from a resident regarding special events, and he suggested to limit the special events. And I totally agree with that comment, and I think we would look to work with the chamber, also with Flagler and Canal, to try and to minimize the impacts on the city, especially when we have 3-4 events at the same time. So that will be coming. That's all I have, Mayor. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer it.
Really good. Thank you very much, City Manager. Any commissioner have a question about any of those points? Very good. Now it's time for public participation. If there's any citizen who wishes to speak You can approach the podium and give us your monologue. It's not a dialogue. We'd be happy to hear what you have to say, whether they're compliments or criticisms of things that are going on or your concerns. There'll be a light in the podium that gives you an indication of how much time you have. You have 3 minutes until the yellow light, and you have a minute after that, and the red light is at the end of 3 minutes. And when you come forward, please give us your name and address. Hi, Zoe.
Hi, Mayor, Commission. I'm Zoe Nooner, and I'm president of the Flagler Avenue Business Association at 306 Flagler Avenue. First and foremost, I want to say thank you for voting for the curfew. I've had the opportunity to speak with many businesses, and we feel very supported by the extra police presence, and in addition, the curfew has made the evenings a lot more smooth. Secondly, I wanted to say thank you for voting for the extra funds for the street beautification. I had the opportunity to meet with the city manager, and then since with David Ray, and we're really excited about the plans that we have, and we look forward to presenting those at a future meeting. I just wanted to remind the commission that we may need to come back and ask for additional funds due to our marine grade environment. So we have the equal amount of funds allotted for both historic districts, but Flagler Avenue faces some special challenges. And secondly, I hadn't planned on this, but speaking to city manager's comments, I wanted to make you aware of a group of all of the heads of organizations called the City Connectors. And we meet monthly and talk about all of our events and have worked on an event calendar. And we are very much trying to make sure that we don't overlap our events so that it's smoother. Unfortunately, there are some events that all of the organizations have had at specific dates that are long-standing, and it can be difficult, but we have made strides to cutting events when we felt like we could. So we'll look forward to working with the city manager further in maybe inviting him to meet with our group and speak. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate your comments, ma'am. Ms. Isom.
Good evening, all. I am Pam Ison. I live at 624 North Riverside Drive. I'm here tonight on behalf of the Southeast Volusia Chamber of Commerce as their incoming president. A few meetings ago, we talked about a parking task force, and we're going to talk about that and vote on that tonight under 10C. At that meeting, our executive director, Stephanie Ford, put forth a request that the chamber have a seat on that task force. We have a member of the chamber who's also on the board who has put his name in. His name is O.E. Burke, and I would certainly hope that the commission would consider giving a seat on this board to the chamber. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate your comments. Sir.
Chris Botting. I reside at 814 East 23rd Avenue here in New Smyrna Beach. I'm here tonight and to speak to you about the Table 2 Committee. We are on your agenda tonight, but I just wanted to get before you and say thank you for putting us on the agenda in the sense of redundancy. I don't want to go into my overall spiel, so to speak, but I would like just to let you know that we are here. If you have any questions when you get to us in 6H, I'll be happy to answer any questions. So thank you for your time, and I appreciate everyone being here.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. Sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Mike Sleaford. I live at 806 Locust Street on the Berry Island. My ask tonight was to make sure in the budget for next year the Commission consider our strategic plan to deal with the infrastructure regarding the flooding. If I heard the city manager, that's already in the works, but where I live, we experienced significant damage, and I think there's long-term and short-term areas that we should consider. Look at the existing equipment that we have. I don't know when it was put in, but some of those have been for a while. I don't know if it can take care of the capacity, the drains. I know there's a long-term issue with the pipes from where we live. It comes to the ocean, it goes across the street, then pipes it to the river. So is that capacity with the all the people that have moved here in the water. I would look at the grading. Our road is a dirt road, but now there's settling, so now it can't go from one drain to another. Again, my ask is that this is part of a strategic plan so we can look at that infrastructure long-term, because it's not a short-term issue. Some things may be, but I think if we don't start now, considering what the cost is and down the road where that is, because I know that Locust is not the only street that's been impacted, but I, again, would ask that we strongly consider something like that as we go forward. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your comments. Anyone else for public participation? Seeing none, public participation is now closed. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Member of the commission wish to remove the item on the consent agenda for discussion. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to accept the consent agenda.
Very well. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner McGurk,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes.
Commissioner Perrine,
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, items A through H are approved. Move on to administrative items and new business. First off, we'd like to consider the approval. This is a two-vote step here. It's to consider the approval from a dredging marine consultant and design agency for the dock and amenities at the AOB. And the second part of that is to make a resolution to go forward to the find to get money from them. Colin, do you want to tee this up for us?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. So this is the administrative office building site, which is just west of the North Causeway boat ramp. Obviously, we have submitted a grant application last year, and that was for the design. We got it. Now we're going to actual design to submit for the construction grant. The construction grant must be submitted before the end of this month. And typically what happens is you submit your application, and then you will find out sometime in June whether you are on the list or not. Then we have to go make a presentation before the board. And then by the end of the year, you will receive that whether you receive the grant or not. This is phase one of the project in terms of the construction. And I just want to be clarified. When they say phase one, that's mean design. Phase two, that's mean construction. When I say phase one from our side, that's phase one of the project itself from the conceptual plan. When we did the estimate initially, it was quite a bit lower than this, but now since we have, this is an updated, I'm gonna have Todd to go in over the numbers, because the number have gone up almost over $1 million. This is a 50% match grant. The funding for this project will be provided through our parking funds. I know some of you have asked me during the briefing, do we have enough funds in the parking funds? And we do. And then their question was, what happened during the parking task force? If we needed to do something, would we have enough money? That revenue is generated day in and day out for the parking fund. So if we needed to do any projects, you could actually, like, say if the project is $15 million, if you take a loan and you show that you have enough revenue to cover the payments, then it should be okay. So from a funding standpoint, I don't see any problem for it, but I'm gonna have Todd just to go over the numbers for you and just kind of give you some more details.
Thank you. That's helpful. The Capital Improvement Project Manager, Alexander, is here. Todd, can you give us your report, please?
Yes, sir. So when we did the original estimate for the AOB site, it actually had two different components, like Khalid had mentioned. There was scope for the boat ramps and boat ramp dock area that included floating docks, improvements to the existing timber piers to replace them with floating docks, some additional floating docks that would connect those docks over to the pier. and then some pavilions or some additional amenities. The second part is going to be additional pavilions and floating docks where the AOB site is, the current overflow parking area. And that will also have boat slips with it, kayak launches, an improved shoreline, so you have improved access to the intercoastal waterway and additional picnic pavilions. Those estimates were done pre-hurricane era, the construction estimates, and all of the construction costs for anything marine related has gone up considerably. So the original estimate for the boat ramp area was for $660,000 to construct. The improvements on the AOB site were roughly between 3.8 and 4 million. That cost has gone up dramatically. I've asked our consultant to review the construction estimate based on current construction cost, and they went up to approximately 1.2 million, 1.1 to 1.2 million dollars for the boat ramp area. And I haven't gotten an estimate for the AOB site, but that estimate will be developed once we get into design, and we'll have a more accurate estimate. So,
any questions by any of the commissioners?
One of the concerns I have is that we're really good at coming up with numbers for construction, but my concerns are total cost of ownership. And right, I think you know where I'm going with this. Yes. We got depreciation, we got maintenance, we have a much more expansive cost list than what is shown up front in projects. So I'm looking for that. What's it going to cost to own us? Right down to additional staff for maintaining, additional supplies, you know, the whole thing. So hopefully we'll be able to have that before we make any final decisions, so we know what it's really going to be for the next 10 years, say.
Understood. Now, for the boat ramp area with the floating docks, there is an assumption that our costs would be reduced overall for ownership, because the boat ramp, the floating docks will float up and down with a tidal influence and should have less impact from that tidal influence and less destruction. They're more resilient because now there is an initial upfront cost. They're more costly, but they will last longer and they can handle the tidal influence better than a timber stationary dock. As you know, you know the tidal influence will impact it. Now the AOB site, that's a little bit different, you know, of project, so there's different elements. But during design, we can get those numbers and try to, you know, try to forecast what that will be so that we can have that to make that decision.
I very much appreciate that. And one of the things is we can assume that the floating docks will have perhaps more visitors. There might be more trash. We might need more receptacles. So it is the whole project at which I'm looking.
Understood.
Thanks, Todd.
Any other questions or discussion? Khalid and Todd, this is the small check. The big check is the next one, and you don't get any unless you spend the big check, right?
The big check is phase 2. That's going to be the biggest significant difference in terms of the construction cost. Even though this is, I mean, you're talking about $1 million. It's not that cheap, but it's comparing to the other phase. I think it's quite a bit different.
So my question leading up to that was, will we have the right amount of money to spend on the big check?
You mean for phase 2?
Yeah, phase 2.
Well, at this point, I mean, I don't know what the cost is going to be, so I cannot tell you. But when we come into, when we apply, if we're applying for phase 2 immediately after that, then we have to go back and look at the funding, what's available, and what's the cost of the project. And as Commissioner Martin mentioned, you know, you got the maintenance and you got the depreciation on that. But typically, what happened, those costs would be included in the following budget when it's constructed. But she wants to know the cost now, which is, I think, it's a valid question. So
I understand. Where I was if we don't go to phase 2, the money is all spent in phase 1. We don't recuperate any of that. Is that right? So when we vote today,
no, whatever you construct, you get reimbursed for it.
But if we don't construct at all, this design phase money is gone.
If you don't construct it, you would lose the money from the design.
That's
Yes,
the
sir.
point I wanted to make sure the commission knew.
I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about phase 2 of the construction itself.
Any other comments, Todd?
We did split that into two different projects, though, so the boat ramps and the AOB site, so I think that we could be able.
What he's talking about is if you don't do the construction, you would lose the money for the design, and that's true statement, so.
Okay.
That's all I want to point out. Commissioner Perrine?
I believe you said the fine grants have not all been approved, that still has to be approved as well, so it's not 100%.
No, what I said is we have the grant for the design. They won't reimburse you for the design until you start the construction. So right now, we're submitting this grant for the construction. When we start construction, then you could submit the reimbursement for the design. So for example, you receive the grant for the design, and say, for example, that we decided, you know what, we didn't want to do it now. I cannot go back to find and say, hey, can you reimburse us for the design? And I think that's what the mayor wants to make a statement, that if we don't go for the construction, we would lose the $294,000 for the design.
I just thought that there was a portion of that
It's 50-50.
they have not gotten approved yet in the later stage in phase 2.
Yeah. Well, phase 2, we haven't submitted. I mean, this is the submission for phase 2. Phase 2 of our project, that's totally a different project. I mean, this is only phase 1 of our conceptual.
But we can, like you said, you split it out. We can go forward with the phase 1 and then wait and see if phase 2 we are awarded the grant on that.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
City Manager, do you have any reason to believe that the fine would not approve at this point when we go forward?
I mean, our experience been with them. If they approve the design, they will approve this. Now, the question is, would they provide the full 50% or not? I would say 95% of the time they have provided the full amounts. 5% they have probably, instead of providing, like, say, 500, they provide 400 or 450. But I cannot guarantee that, but it's depending on how much money they have for Volusia County. But we have to keep in mind, the district commissioner in fine that represent this area lives in New Smyrna. He's very supportive of this project. He has put initial on the project because he have to sign off on it. So I think we'll get a full support from him and also from the board members.
Really good. Any other questions? Todd, any other comments?
No, sir.
Just a last reminder, if I could. Free money is frequently very expensive. I think Randy and Jason are very sensitive to how expensive that money can be.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you very much, Todd.
Thank
Appreciate it. Is there a motion to approve the proposal from the Dredging Marine Consultants for the design, engineering, and construction administration of the North Causeway Boat Ramp Facilities, dock, and amenity improvements in the amount of $110,000?
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? City Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner Perrine?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland?
Yes.
Thank you.
Second part of this is a motion to adopt Resolution 0823, which is the permission to go to the fine. And so is there a motion to adopt resolution number 0823?
I'll make the motion to adopt resolution 0823.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second. Any other discussion? Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner Perrine?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland?
Yes.
Thank you.
For the record, both the proposal and the resolution have been adopted and approved. We're going to move on to ordinances, second readings, and public hearings. We'll now be conducting a quasi-judicial public hearing. It will be conducted to consider the adoption of the following ordinances regarding the annexation of a property located at 307 Ingram Road. Will the city attorney please read them? She may read them all together, but we'll vote for them separately.
Ordinance number 1423, an ordinance annexing into the city of New Smyrna Beach, .2 plus or minus acres of property located on the east side of Ingham Road, north of Field Street, addressed as 307 Ingham Road, providing for redefining boundaries of the city, designating the property within Commission Zone 1, providing for public hearing, providing for required filings, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. Ordinance number 1523, an ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach, amending the comprehensive plan, changing the future land use designation of 0.2 plus or minus acres of land located on the east side of Ingham Road, north of Field Street, addressed as 307 Ingham, from urban medium intensity to city medium density residential, providing for amendment of the associated comprehensive plan maps to show the area incorporated into the city, providing for public hearing, providing for conflicting ordinances, and providing an effective date. Ordinance number 1623. An ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach rezoning 0.2 plus or minus acres of property located on the east side of Ingham Road, north of Field Street, addressed as 307 Ingham Road, from Volusia County R4A, Urban Single Family Residential Airport Overlay, to City R2A, Single Family Residential Airport Overlay Zoning District, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you, Madam City Attorney. We'll first hear from the city. I see Senior Planner Mathan is here. Bob, would you give us your report?
Yes, Mayor. So the property owners request a voluntary annexation, a comprehensive plan amendment, and a rezoning from a Volusia County future land designation of urban medium intensity and a Volusia County zoning designation of R4 urban single family residential with an A attached for the airport height notification zone, to city future land use designation of medium density residential and a city zoning designation of R2 single family residential, and attaching an A for the airport height notification zone. The site contains approximately 0.18 acres. It's located on the east side of Ingham Road, north of Field Street. And at its regular scheduled meeting on February 6th, the Planning and Zoning Board voted 6-0 to give a recommendation to the City Commission to approve the requested overall annexation application. Staff also recommends the City Commission to approve the requested annexation, small-scale comprehensive plan amendment, amending the future land use map to city medium-density residential, and to rezone the property to R2 single-family residential and attach an A for the airport height notification zone. With that, the application also meets the city's comprehensive plan. And that is my staff report. Subject to any questions that the commission may have.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from any commissioner for our senior planner? By chance, is the applicant present? I'd like to say a few words. Thank you, Bob. City Commission will now hear from members of the public wishing to testify in favor of or in opposition to Ordinance 1423, 1523, and 1623. Is there anyone that wishes to speak? Seeing none, we'll close that. Any other remarks you'd like to make, Bob? Okay, very good. The quasi-judicial hearing to consider the adoption of 14, 15, 23, and 1623 is now closed. The commission shall vote separately on each ordinance. Is there a motion to adopt 1423?
Motion to adopt ordinance 1423.
Have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Perine?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland?
Yes.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve 1523?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 1523.
Thank you. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner Perine?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland?
Yes.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve number 1623?
Motion to approve ordinance 1623.
Thank you very much. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. City Clerk, please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner Perine?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland?
Yes.
Thank you.
We'll move on to Section 9, ordinances. The good news is there's no first readings tonight. We move on to item number 10, which is boards and commissions, which will take us the balance of the meeting. Item 10A is a code compliance board consideration of an appointment of one citizen to have an unexpired term of 3 years ending on 3rd of March 2024. City Clerk, do you want to tee this up for us?
Yes, good evening. There was a vacancy that was created by the resignation of Rex Huffman. The city clerk's office has received 2 applications, one from Ruth Kazmerzak, one from Robin Winters, and those applications are up for city commission consideration to appoint one of the applicants to the board.
Okay,
That's
I'm
all.
ready.
Okay. Nominations, city commission is allowed to make nominations equal to the number of vacancies, so each commissioner, if you so choose, I'm sorry.
So in all transparency, I know both of these ladies, and I kind of recruited them, so I'm going to nominate them both, and then we'll figure out which
Okay.
one gets the most votes.
Awesome. That's great.
It may
All
save
right.
me later.
I got you. Anyone else want to speak on behalf of any of them? And now, Kelly, will you distribute the ballots?
Yes. All right, ballot readings are as follows. Robin Winters was chosen by Mayor Cleveland and Vice Mayor Hartman. Ruth Kazmerzak was selected by Commissioner McGurk, Commissioner Perrine, and Commissioner Martin. So by majority vote, it would be Ruth Kazmerzak would be appointed as the new member of Code Compliance Board.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, Ms. Kazmarek. The city clerk's office will send you an official notification. Thank you for stepping forward to serve your city. Item 10B is positions on the Community Enhancement Engagement Committee. Consider the appointment of one citizen to serve a 3-year term expiring on September 1st, 2025 as a regular member. Would you tee this up for us, Kelly?
Yes, this is one of our new boards that was created last year. We had one vacancy remaining, and we have finally received an application. I just kept it ongoing. Every time that we received an application that fit one of the criteria for the seats, I brought it to commission so we can continue filling the board. We have our last one, who is a citizen in Zone 1, Julie Strickland. That is the seat that we were missing, the only one left that was vacant. So tonight I was asking City Commission's consideration to appoint Ms. Strickland to fill that seat, that vacancy, because she does meet the requirements residing in Zone 1.
Thank you, City Clerk, for your report. Is there a motion to appoint Julie Strickland to serve a 3-year term expiring on September 1st, 2025 as a member of the Community Engagement and Enhancement Committee?
I'll make a motion to appoint Julie Strickland to the Community Engagement and Enhancement Committee.
Excellent. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there further discussion? City Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Perrine?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland?
Yes.
Thank you.
Item 10C is the Parking Task Force, the appointment. Consider the appointment of 7 citizens to represent and serve regular members from 1 March 2023 to 26 September 2023. Kelly, tee this one up for us, would you please?
Yes, in an effort to make this as painless as possible, because all of these seats are open. There were 7. I'll first provide a little bit of history. In January, you met. There were some changes that were recommended to the city attorney, changing the membership number from 5 to 7. Those 2 seats that were added were to require that there were a Flagler Avenue Business District representative as well as a Canal Street Business District representative seats on this specific board. Further discussion indicated that there were 2 desired seats, not required, so there's a difference, and that was to have a Venetian Bay representative as well as a Southeast Volusia Chamber of Commerce representative. So tonight, what I tried to do was take everybody's suggestions, look at the applicants. I've made a list and broke it down. So what I was suggesting is that you take a look at the required seats first, which is the Flagler Avenue Business District representative, then the Canal Street. Look at those applicants, make any nominations, and then we can do a ballot if it leads to that. There's 1 vacancy for each of those seats. So if you want to do it that way, then I've grouped everybody together on a list, the remaining people, including the desired seats, on there for everybody to select, but we can move slowly in the process so you get the hang of.
So we're going to pick 2
Yeah.
and then pick 5.
Right.
All right.
So let me.
Without objection, can we move forward, or has anybody got a comment? Okay, Kelly. So we'll start with the 2.
Sure.
One's Flagler and one is Canal, right?
Yes, and so these are the applicants. I've listed them under here, so everybody is on the same page and understands the Flagler Avenue Business District representatives. We had 3 applicants meeting that criteria: Wayne Lundberg, Rose Neidick, and Zoe Nooner. For Canal Street, we had 4, which is Elizabeth Jones, Jay Pendergast, Chris Sports, and Serge Cerisi. Those are the required seats. Those are the applicants meeting those 2. The desired seats, I wanted to include as well. We have 1 for Venetian Bay, that was Anthony Oddie, 4 that listed that they were a member of the Southeast Volusia Chamber of Commerce is O.E. Burke, Celeste Lester, Zoe Nooner, and Chris Schwartz. Also taking into consideration what Ms. Eisen suggested during public participation, I believe that they have suggested member O.E. Burke to you to consider for nomination. I wanted to note as well, there's a little note, applicants meeting the criteria above for those required seats, but do not meet the citizen criteria are Rose Neidick, Jay Pendergast, and O.E. Burke. So if they're not selected and appointed for the Flagler Avenue or the Canal Street District representative, they would not be eligible under citizen just because they don't live within city boundaries.
Pull that up a little bit. Who's not, clarify, who's not eligible, who does not live in the city for city boundaries?
Rose Neidick, Jay Pendergast, and O.E. Burke. Okay.
Okay, move on to the first vote.
All right. So the first one is Flagler Avenue Business District. So you've got Wayne Lundberg, Rose Neidick, Zoe Nooner. I just went over this. That was what I stated right below that. And if you would like to make nominations, you can. I'll go ahead and include them on here to make the ballot easier.
I'll nominate Rose Neidick for FABA.
I'd like to nominate Zoe Nooner.
Are there any other nominations? I'll nominate Wayne Lundberg.
And this is for.
This is for FABA. That's right, Flagler. You do not have to be a FABA member. You just have to have a business on Flagler.
Ballot counts are as follows. Let's see. Mayor Cleveland and Commissioner McGurk selected Wayne Lundberg. Commissioner Martin selected Rose Niditch, and Vice Mayor Hartman, Commissioner Perrine selected Zoe Nooner. So since Rose Niditch received the minority and there was a tie for the other two, I will be passing out a subsequent ballot, and you would choose between Zoe Nooner and Wayne Lundberg. All right, ballot count is Mayor Cleveland voted for Wayne Lundberg, Commissioner Perrine, Commissioner Martin, Commissioner McGurk, Vice Mayor Hartman all voted for Zoe Nooner. So by majority ballot count, Zoe Nooner would be appointed to serve in the Flagler Avenue Business District
Wonderful.
representative seat.
Congratulations, Zoe. City Clerk's office will be in touch. Thank you for stepping forward.
Moving on to the Canal Street business representatives. There are 4 that you can choose from. Elizabeth Jones is eligible for the citizen seat appointment consideration if she's not appointed. Jay Pendergrass would be ineligible as he does not reside within city boundaries. Chris Schwartz is eligible for both the citizen and the SEV Chamber of Commerce seats. And Serge Sorisi is eligible for the citizen seat appointment consideration also if not appointed to serve as the specific seat for the Canal Street Business District representative. So
For clarity, can you go back for clarity? Pendergrass is only eligible for this spot.
that is correct.
Okay.
And if you'd like last time, I can go ahead and take any nominations if you'd like to open the.
I'd like to nominate Jay Pendergrass, please.
I'll nominate Serge Sorais.
Are there any other nominations for this seat?
I see none. Please hand out the ballots.
On this ballot, you'll be choosing between Serge Sorisi and Jay Pendergrass. Ballot count is as follows. Commissioner Martin voted for Serge Sorisi. Vice Mayor Hartman, Commissioner McGurk, Mayor Cleveland, and Commissioner Perrine voted for Jay Pendergrass. And so by majority vote, Mr. Pendergrass would serve in the seat of the Canal Street Business District representative.
Congratulations, Mr. Pendergrass. We appreciate you stepping forward. The city clerk's office will be in touch. Okay, let's move on to the next one.
All right. The next one, I have highlighted in blue. If you can see that, who would qualify. I put the zones down to per request. I originally did that to show citizen what zone they resided in. Because it was so heavy with some of the zones, like you could see Zone 2 had many more applicants than maybe somebody in Zone 1 or 4. They've all been indicated by that. The blue highlights if they were a member of the chamber. Since you've already selected, let me see. Sorry about that. Jay Pendergrass and Zoe right here. So we're going to go ahead and remove her from there because she's already been.
I feel like I'd be remiss not to tell you that Rose Knight actually resides on Flagler Avenue, so I would consider that she would be a citizen. I'm not sure why her application did not note that, but I felt like I should at least let you all know that.
Okay, we can, thank you. We can go ahead and include her.
That helps.
Yeah.
Kelly, Flagler Zone 2.
Oh, sorry, thank you. All right, so this is your list of people. You can go ahead and make up to, each commissioner can make up to the number of vacancies that we have remaining, which are 5. Just keeping in mind that you're still looking for a chamber member that was recommended, as well as Venetian Bay, but you don't have to.
Other
All right, I'm
nominations?
going to make nominations.
Sir.
Sir Cerez, Wayne Lumberg, O.E. Burke, David McKenna, Liz Jones.
All
Do you
right.
have any, Commissioner, or Vice Mayor Hartman?
Nominate Tony Oddie, Anthony Oddie.
Commissioner Perrine or Commissioner Martin?
Yeah. Liz Jones, David McKenna, Wayne Lundberg.
Okay.
Let's see.
So they've already been nominated. You don't have to go and do it
Okay.
again.
Yeah. I'm going to nominate Dan Rokier and Ronald Burns and Celeste Lester.
No additions. The nominations are closed.
Okay, you're not
Nope,
nominating.
the ones I want are all up there. Thank you.
Kelly,
Yes.
O.E. Burke, isn't he on the,
Yes,
ah,
he's
okay, the desired list? Gotcha.
Is it time to pass the ballots out?
Yes, let me figure that. Let me go ahead and try. I don't have a majority on any of these, so I'm going to remove the ones that weren't chosen so everybody could see the nominees up there, which would make it easier if you could just give me a minute to do that.
Now you want us to pick 5?
Pick 5, right?
Right. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Diane.
I don't think you can ever hear a pin drop in this room.
No, really?
First time ever.
That's right.
All right.
That was easy.
Let me fix this real quick.
I'm sorry. All right, well, let's have it.
Just one moment, I have to decipher these. All right, so. Venetian Bay. Anthony Oddie. I have four members of commission that have selected him, and that was Vice Mayor Hartman, Commissioner Perrine, Commissioner Martin, and Mayor Cleveland. He is a majority. He has a majority in nomination, 4 out of 5, so he can fill one of those slots, and he would also serve as the Venetian Bay.
Great, congratulations, Mr. Oddie. We appreciate you stepping forward. The city clerk's office will be in touch.
All right. There were also 4 votes for Serge Cerisi by Commissioner McGurk, Vice Mayor Hartman, Commissioner Martin, and Mayor Cleveland, so he could fill one of those seats. He has majority vote.
Congratulations to Serge. Thank you for stepping up and serving your city. The city clerk's office will be in touch.
There was a citizen with 3 votes, which is also a majority, Wayne Lundberg. He was selected by Commissioner McGurk, Vice Mayor Hartman, and Commissioner Perrine. So he's eligible to fill one of those seats. He has a majority.
It was Wayne Lundberg.
Wayne Lundberg.
I voted for him.
Yes, you did?
I didn't hear it.
Oh, yes.
Thanks. And so he's in, yeah?
Yes.
Congratulations, Mr. Lundberg. Appreciate you stepping forward to serve your city. City clerk's office will be in touch.
All right, so this equals 2 seats. Let me see. All right, there was also, oh, no, there's not. There's, yes, there was. There was a majority for O.E. Burke for the chamber seat, and the people that voted for him were Mayor Cleveland, Commissioner Perrine, Vice Mayor Hartman, and Commissioner McGurk. And that was for O.E. Burke to serve in the capacity of the SEV chamber rep.
Congratulations, Mr. Burke. Thank you for stepping forward and serving your city. The city clerk's office will be in touch.
Lastly, you do have a majority on Elizabeth Jones. She was selected by Commissioner McGurk, Vice Mayor Hartman, and Commissioner Perrine. And so you do have that 5th seat by majority, Elizabeth Jones.
Is that the 5th candidate?
I'm sorry?
Is that the 5th candidate?
Yes, it is.
Thank you very much. Appreciate Ms. Jones for stepping forward and serving the city. City clerk's office will be in touch soon. Thank you for everyone for putting their name out there. Mr. Rashadat will be in touch, I'm sure, soon. This will be an arduous task, meetings twice a month for a fixed period of time, and we're going to staff that up with city staff and experts outside the city to make a headway on our system-wide parking challenges. You have a remark, sir?
No, but just want to make sure that we will have the 2 meetings a month. Our assistant city manager will lead the city staff with handling the task force. It will be attended by myself and also by other staff members as needed. And then whether we need a consultant or a volunteer or any other, someone from other agencies as an expert, we will bring him in, and hopefully we will lead the task force to come up with some recommendations at the end of the term and provide it to the commission. So we'll be in touch with them. We will probably have a pre-meeting with the task force. There is 7 of them. I think we need to talk about the Sunshine Law as well. So we'll probably have a meeting sometime next week with them.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Let's move on to item number 12, which is the city manager's, Let's go on to item number 11, mayor and commissioner reports. Vice Mayor, do you have a report, sir?
I do. I had the tough job last week of filling in for the mayor when he was not available. I attended 2 events on his behalf. One of them was for the Tiger Bay Club, and it was kind of like a mayor forum. I had a nice name tag that said Mayor Fred Cleveland. I even had a badge on that said Mayor Fred Cleveland, and I got almost through the entire presentation before somebody called me out. So I hope I did you proud. But you know, the other mayors that were there with us didn't rat me out, so it was actually somebody in the audience caught it, and so I had to fess up at the end.
They got an upgrade, Randy. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, so there some good conversations. You know, all of the mayors, we're all facing the same challenges out there today. Everything along with from the flooding to some with the beach erosions and traffic and those issues. And so it's not just germane to our area, it's across the entire county. So thank you for the opportunity, and that's all I have.
Excellent. Commissioner McGurk, have you got something for us?
I'm just going to reiterate the praise for the police chief, the sister agencies that have helped out, and so far so good. Everything looks fantastic, and I think this will calm a lot of nerves out there on both sides. The parents who think we're going after their law-abiding kids, and those who saw what a disaster it was last year. So, great job, Chief. Thank you.
Really good. Thank you, sir. Commissioner Martin.
Hi, well, again, thank you very much to Eric, and trying to make the job on Flagler a little easier. We have 3 different types of street lighting. Shorter lights that are owned by the city and are no longer repairable. And then we have 2 types of lighting from the Utilities Commission. And I know of at least 7 of those that are either out or are wonky. You know, they go in and out. So I'm going to hope for some help getting that Flagler Avenue lighting crisp and clean and clear. And also, I understand we've stayed away from Flagler parking lot lighting because of the turtles. But I think that we can find shielded lights directing the traffic, or the light to the parking lot and away from the beach, to make that parking lot a lot safer. I suspect that's a big ticket item as opposed to just repairing the lights on Flagler, which hopefully are not as much. But I would like to at least assist our law enforcement and mutual aid partners by making that a good, clear-sighted area. Not to mention a lot more attractive without mismatched and off and blinking lights. Also want to see if I can get the commission's permission to use $500 of my discretionary funds so that the city would join the Volusia County Cultural Association. It's a $500 buy-in, and it really shows our support for all of the cultural activities and arts in our area. And I brought little flyers to show
So as I
everyone.
understand, that's a discretionary item and doesn't require approval by the commission,
I
so
think
without
it's-
objection.
You have some funding available for the commission to use, and I think it just bringing it to the commission and get their blessing, I think would be a good thing to do so.
Without objection, it's approved. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And that's it. I've got some workshop items, but I think they'll hold for the workshop.
Really good. Commissioner Perrine.
So this week I've been cleaning windows all week, getting my home ready for the Charming Home Tour on Thursday. So my arms are about ready to fall off. But I do want to talk a little bit about historic preservation because we saw some letters come forward this week that are going to be going out to the citizens. And when we're in that public meeting, we can't speak. So I'd like to open this up for a little bit of communication. But first of all, I want to commend our city attorney, Carrie, for helping us sort through all the information concerning our Historic Preservation Board or commission. She has indeed spent a great deal of time updating us about the ZT 8-22 text amendments and separating these facts from the Chapter 50 revisions. I've read what she said, plus 3 other attorney findings. So I'm very confident and comfortable discussing this. To update our public, we've received over 40 emails and dozens of calls from historic property owners against ZT-8-22 text amendments, against a local historic overlay, and against many of the Chapter 50 revisions. Our city attorney stated that she legally does not recommend that we approve the ZT-8-22 text amendment involving a change in LDR height and lot assemblage because this should not be done without having a local historic overlay. It clearly shows that it's an inordinate burden that raises potential claims and ignores the proper process for this approval to be allowed. Legally, for this to be an option, we would need the local overlay. And the HPC tried that 2 years ago, and the local overlay did not pass. Other attorneys have also told us that if the city approves these text amendments without the local overlay, that we are liable for violating property owner rights. Our historic owners have spoken loudly against this. They believe we can find other ways to keep our city's charm, protect our history and property owner rights without enforcing government overreach on our historic property owners. So that's what I wanted to talk about. We actually have a decision by our city attorney. I was going to make a motion tonight just to drop the ZT-822 instead of our taxpayers spending money for another public workshop and more letters. Because I originally thought all of the historic homeowners needed to know that until I started getting 40 to 50 emails and phone calls against it from the historic homeowners, and I haven't gotten one for it. So with knowing that, why are we spending time on that now that we know there's so many people against it when we don't have the overlay? Because we can't approve it. We're not going to go against city staff. I can't imagine we would do that. But anyway, I want to open it up for discussion.
Thanks for that great report, Valley. Appreciate your diligence and connectivity with the city attorney. Underneath all that, I think I heard a motion. And so that would leave us the opportunity to either discuss or move forward. So not wanting to rush into anything because I didn't expect this tonight. Is there any other commissioner who would like to opine? And then we'll see if there's a motion later. Commissioner McGurk.
So I'm willing to weigh in some of my thoughts and my understanding of the history of this. I don't generally like motions to come up. I don't usually accept them when we're on the dais without notice. Let me talk about that a little bit. So the local overlay. It's been tried numerous times. It has never been supported. I think this recent time, we got about 35% response pretty quickly in favor, and then it just died off. And that was what I understood happened all the previous times. It's why we don't have an overlay. I will say that my recollection, I'm going to bring Randy into this. Randy, you can jump in any time. But my recollection was there was a request by some people in an organization who wanted us to take a look at some of the historic related ordinances. And the last commission agreed to have staff look at things and then come report back to us on some of these issues. That was my vague understanding. It wasn't, so I'm not sure with where the cart comes before the horse. We're having public meetings before staff has come back and touched base with us. Now, here's the issue. What comes first, the chicken or the egg? I don't want to get on staff for going out and having a public meeting when I'm always the one saying, hey, let's get out there, let's get the public involved, let's make sure they know, because what do they always say? I didn't know of anything. You bring up an interesting question, Valley, which is, should we proceed with this?
I need to clarify that because I said I was going to make a motion, but I'm not. So I wanted to open it up for discussion, but here's one thing that I do see, the Chapter 50 rewrite, and with that, that's going to take a public workshop for that because there's a lot of details in that, and that is something that we can make strike-throughs, we can change, we can accept some of the things, we can change a name if that's the way we go. There are plenty of opportunities to look at that and hold that to the public workshop versus spending taxpayer money notifying all these people when we've already got a recommendation not to proceed because we don't have the local overlay for the text amendments. I mean, if that makes sense.
So, and I'm not disagreeing. What I'm just saying is what my vague recollection was on how we got to this. Mm-hmm. So what I was saying was you bring up an interesting point, which is how do we want to continue going down this road and have it come to the commission? And I'm flexible in the context that me having staff go out, research it, and bring something back to us, I have no problem with. I think it gets complicated on what exactly we do. How far does staff go before they bring something to us for us to say, we want to move forward on it or we don't want to move forward on it? And I don't have necessarily an answer for you tonight. But I appreciate you bringing it up, and you're right, this is the kind of dialogue we need to have. It's always messy because we don't get to talk to each other about this, and there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of spokes in the wheel with this. So the way that I'm understanding this is staff sent out letters to the historic, people who own historic properties. And it's historic in and around either the historic district we have or the perceived historic district. And the response to voluntarily participate and put their properties into a historic overlay did not get a strong favorite, a positive response. So we've got that issue with the overlay, which you articulated well, and then Chapter 50 issues. So my concern is I don't want to get too far down a road with there being some assumption that the commission supports it or staff supports it or, so that is the discussion that that you invoked certainly in me is we did direct staff after some public comment to go ahead and bring back to us something. It wasn't overly clear on what it was. Now, to that extent, that was a little bit of the history on it. And where we are today, where staff is, the different issues, it's kind of like the can of, you know, we open it up and it's got a lot of different spokes to the wheel.
Thank you. Commissioner Hartman, have you got a view?
So I agree with Jason, I agree with you, but I also think in all fairness and to be open and honest to the residents of New Smyrna Beach, we need to have the public meetings on both topics. There's been so much information out there through social media that was untrue or misleading. Combine the two together. I mean, a lot of my emails just said, stop the city HOA. Didn't speak to either one of the two issues, so I want to see, because historically, and as you know, sitting on TPO, only the people who don't want something are going to email you. The others, they're okay with it. It doesn't bother them. They have no concerns. I've seen that several times over the last 6 years. So I think the public meeting forum is the right place to do this, and the right place. Staff has done their due diligence. We'll present those two items. The public can weigh in, show of hands, yay or nay, speak at the mic, whatever they want to do. And then we would have a better census of those people who truly had an interest or concern and physically took some time out of their day to come to a meeting as opposed to sit at home and chat away on a keyboard. So I'm in favor of the two public meetings. I thought we were going in that direction, and that's what I've been telling all of my constituents who have called or asked about that. What's your position on this? I said, well, let's wait for the public meetings. We're going to have public meetings on the issue, so let's wait and see what's the facts are presented by staff, and then we can proceed from there. They may not go any further. I mean, if there's an abundance of the people who say I don't want the text amendment, and staff's not in favor of it either, I don't see any point of it even coming before us. We can discuss that during our briefing period. So.
Really good. The blessing of having two veterans up here is the history. And again, both Commissioner Hartman and Commissioner McGurk, you do not disappoint. Thank you very much for that. Val, you bring a good point, and we'll hear Commissioner Martin's views.
It's clearly not ready for prime time. I don't think either is ready for a vote at this point, and I think it needs a lot more thought. Thank you.
That's great, and I agree with you and every remark that was made here tonight. I've been wanting to have this conversation. We have got to lead, and in order to lead our city, we've got to inform our city, and the misinformation and social media blitz that's going on right now and ripping apart a wonderful town on a very central topic is absurd. I don't like it. It's the misinformation part. It is confusing. I've had two tutelages by the city attorney. Both of those were tough to detangle because as presented, and if you read the emails, the litany of emails that Randy's talking about, everybody thinks it's one thing. It's two very different things. The Chapter 50, we've got an opportunity to mirror what the state just released in their Chapter 50. We've got that opportunity because and to comply with state requirements. The other thing is totally different. So I favor a get-together, a group meeting, city manager. This is you see how this is cooking here. And I know you're already working on it. And so maybe you can reveal what things you see in the future.
I think the first thing is we have to get the letters out to the citizens, and I want to make sure before the letters are mailed out that each one of you have looked at the letter, made any comments or corrections before we mail them out. Because in the past we mailed the letters out and then we get them back saying, hey, we should have said this or we should have said that. But the idea to go over the item in a public meeting and have the staff explain the item before them and give them some examples, that's the purpose of the public meeting, trying to clarify the issues. And then hopefully when we have that, then we could come back to the commission for their final decisions on it, so.
I think it's a good path to take, Khalid. Getting the facts out and not the innuendo out is important. We would use both city attorney's talents and maybe senior planner Mathan's or others in that department. And then we need to listen to what our city is telling us and then act accordingly.
So can I follow up?
Yes, ma'am.
So one of the things that we received from the Residents Coalition about addressing misconceptions, there's some problems with this. It says property insurance will be difficult to purchase, and this is rumors they state surrounding ZT-8-22. And it says this problem only applies to homes in local historic districts. It's not true for the National Register districts. And it goes down to say, that property insurance won't be impacted by ZT-8-22, which is correct. But again, we need the historical overlay to be able to approve the ZT-8-22. So it goes back, even that group has extracted information that is wrong, because if we approve that, then we have a lot of potential liability by 4 different attorneys, and if we're in this public workshop, we can't speak and say that. They're going to stand up there and read this, the misconceptions in the social media, and we can't say anything differently, this is wrong. I know so much about this because I live in a historic home. I had this happen 2 years ago. I went through all this. I didn't want it then, and I don't want it now. And as a property homeowner, I am just appalled that I'm seeing this again with the new commission board. Makes no sense to me.
I got you. Commissioner McGurk.
So I'm not so sure that you can't speak you said you can't speak in a workshop. I think you probably can. It's a publicly noticed meeting. Now,
So she's talking about the letter that's going out to all the property owners. So if multiple commissioners show up, if she talks, the rest of you will be silenced. So it's that rule.
And that's fine.
Exactly right.
And I certainly have no problem with Valley speaking at any public meeting on something she feels passionate about and has knowledge of. And I will certainly keep my mouth shut.
Just to let you know, I've gone back 2 years and pulled all the public records of this. So I know the emails from 4 different attorneys and what has gone on.
Well, I think it's great that we have a commissioner who actually lives in a historic home and lives in the district and has thoughts. And I will certainly defer to you to speak at a workshop on the issue.
I would feel a lot better because like the 5G meeting that we had, we couldn't speak. So I didn't want this to go down the path again. And then when our mayor lets public speak, we raise the hands, who's for it, who's against it, which I like because we're not here till midnight. But that's not going to help if the Residents Coalition is here, speaking against it, raise their hands, when we have 42 letters here against it. Are those 42 people going to show up? I don't know. So we can't just base on our decisions on the number of people that come here from the Residents Coalition for it or the Historic Board for it when we've already gotten 42 people, homeowners, that are against it. So loud and clear, we need to let our public know that we have these letters now. We have attorney letters, and we have an attorney letter from a group of citizens in my zone and some in Lisa's zone that are adamantly against it. And we'll pursue this if we approve the text amendments.
Your points are crystal clear. You expressed yourself well. I appreciate that. The only report I'd like to provide is a follow-up on Khalid's announcement that we got together yesterday as a group of Volusia County elected officials. And the topic of conversation is centered around beach erosion, as you might imagine, and the 1 May start date of turtle season. And the point was made by another mayor that said some of our beaches don't have any environment for turtles to nest. So why would we not allow the building of armored seawall replacements to occur there? The problem is the way the state rules are set up, unless you have your permit approved through DEP and everyone, prior to 1 May, you cannot build even temporary structures until the end of the turtle season, which is 31 October. The point being, this is not business as usual. This is an unusual year, and it requires unusual circumstances, unusual measures to handle these unusual circumstances. Representative Waltz was there on the phone. He got the message loud and clear. We had a member of the governor's staff there. They have the message loud and clear, and I am optimistic that something different will happen. Just for a reference, there are 90 applications in to rebuild on the beach. 2 have been approved, and 1 May is coming soon. So something's got to be done, and we're pushing hard to make sure that happens. City Manager, your report, sir.
Yes, I just have one thing. I wanted to ask the commission, our mini budget workshops, they start at 5 o'clock. And we have one commissioner who, his schedule is a little bit tight, so if it's possible that we could make the budget workshop, the mini budget workshop at 5:15. So I would like to get a...
Without objection? Okay, it's approved. And ice cream on you?
Ice cream on me.
Awesome.
Okay, so the mini budget workshop that you and I will miss on the 28th, it will be at 5:15.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Item 12B, Khalid, is the airport acquisition. Does the airport manager have a report for us?
Yes.
And if you want to set that up.
Yeah, I will set it up. Typically what happens is at the airport, if we have any vacant properties that becomes available, we would like to purchase that property for economic development. DOT and the FAA, they help quite a bit, especially DOT, on the acquisition of those properties. So sometimes they provide 80, 90%. So this property has been out there for quite some time. Even when the former airport manager was here, we were trying to get it. The owner of Airgate used to own it, then he left, then his nephew took over, and I think now it's for foreclosure. If it's possible, and I think we have available funding through some of the other agencies, I think it'd be wise to purchase the property and add it to the airport's inventory in terms of the properties available.
Perfect. Arvin, have you got more to say? You stayed here all this time. I want to make sure you get your time.
No, I think he said it very well. That's basically summarized it, but I'm here if there's any questions or any further comments you'd like me to make on that.
Any questions for the airport manager? Any commissioner? Thanks, Arvin, for staying and backing us up. Appreciate that. Is there a motion to approve the city manager to bid on this property up to a maximum of $500,000, bypassing the city's appraisal process?
Motion to approve the city manager bidding for the airport acquisition project.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? The appraisal process, Colin, not doing that, what was the logic?
Well, we will have to do the appraisal, so we will do the appraisal. But in this particular case, because it's a foreclosure, so there is no, it's a bidding process, so.
Okay, I got you. Perfect.
But normally when we purchase properties through the normal channel, we will do an appraisal, at least 2 of them.
Thank you very much. Any other discussion? Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hartman?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner Preen?
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland?
Yes.
Thank you.
Madam City Clerk, have you got a report for us tonight after all of that you've done?
No further report. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you for all your work tonight.
You're welcome.
Madam City Attorney, anything from you, ma'am?
Not tonight.
Thank you very much. Anything from any other commissioner? We stand adjourned. Thank you.
Chief.